Well, a couple of months ago, I could hardly contain my excitement when Ben Kimmel called me and said, "Scott, we'd like to have you back to speak at one of our monthly meetings. Could you put together 2.5 to 3 hour presentation on the 4 major flyways?" So I said, I'm gonna have trouble getting it down to 2.5, but we will have an intermission between the Mississippi and Central Flyway for cocktails. But no, thanks, Ben. I'm Scott Keith. I'm the owner of Quack Shack Duck Calls, and I'm a proud member of the Dallas Safari Club. And I was a life member before this TV show was ever even an idea. I've had great fortune to be the host of the Quack Shack TV show on the Sportsman's Channel for the last 3 years. And the past 2 years, it has truly been an honor to have the Dallas Safari Club as the title sponsor of our television show. And through the Quack Shack, I've enjoyed helping to spread the gospel of the Dallas Safari Club to the waterfowling community. Many might not know this, but waterfowlers are one of the fastest growing segments of the hunting industry. And they're also one of the segments in the hunting industry where, through efforts with the Dallas Safari Club partners, Delta Waterfowl, that hunters are ingrained with conservation in mind. And they understand that what you do today leads to wildlife and ducks in the future. So it's been a real pleasure for us to help bring that message to the waterfowlers out there, that the Dallas Safari Club just doesn't benefit the species of animals that live in Africa. It benefits the species of animals that live here in North America, as well as the great state of Texas. I'm so proud of that fact that every time a Quack Shack duck call ships, inside that order, they get a Dallas Safari Club sticker every time an order goes out. We firmly believe the Quack Shack TV show is produced by Safari Classics Productions. And Dave Folsom, Tim Dankliff, Christy Funk, Cameron Kinzer of Safari Classics have been bringing you guys Dallas Safari Club's tracks across Africa for over a decade now, right? And it's a show I've watched long before I ever dreamed of having my own TV show. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the longest running show on outdoor network programming, correct? Somewhere there, close to it? One of them. It's been there a long time, and it's really brought the message to a lot of people. And I would be remiss if I didn't give credit and thanks where both are due. And making a television show with the likes of Safari Classics Production has really been a thrill. We've laughed, we've fought, we've shared each other's successes, we've endured each other's miserable failures. It's been a great ride, to say the least. So I've got to give kudos to Tim Dankliff for his leadership in the Quack Shack endeavor. A big thanks to Dave Folsom for his creative musings and camera work, and major props to Cameron Kinzer for his filming and editing style, which brought a lot of texture to our TV show this year on the Sportsman's Channel. It's been a while since I spoke here. If I recall last, it was November 2013 when I was here, and we had a great night of talking the do's and don'ts of duck hunting and duck calling. And we even had some volunteers come up, some of which were very good and some of which were very bad, but all gave it a yeoman's tremendous effort in learning how to duck call. And I got a lot of feedback that people enjoyed it. It was a breath of fresh air from the normal presentations. It was outside of the box, outside of the normal comfort zone of the presentations here, and they really enjoyed it. There was one guy here who was horrific at calling, if y'all remember who that was, Brock. And I got so many emails from people saying that watching Brock embarrass himself that night, blowing a duck call, was, quote, priceless and worth every penny and volunteer minute that I have given and contributed to this organization. The duck blind is one of the few true rare occurrences in hunting, and where social activity and hunting are combined without really spooking your quarry all that much. And in the blind, we laugh, we bicker, we make fun of each other, we pester each other, we prank each other, we quietly watch sunrises together, we work together, we have successes together, and we fail together. It's a fun place. And this meeting, I thought it would be good to show you the good, the bad, and the funny of the duck blind. So, we're going to revisit clips from the last 3 seasons of the Quack Shack TV show and highlight why 3 months out of the year, a duck blind is a very entertaining place to be. The first clip we're going to watch. Shooting ducks is kind of like playing golf, except your goal is to score a 6 in as few shells as possible. For some of us, it only takes a handful of shells. For others, it takes several boxes. I won't name any names. But one thing can't be denied. Like golf, one great shot duck hunting brings you back for more.
One of the highlights of the day is we had a wad of teal that was coming in, and they dropped about 500 feet of altitude in a split second. When they got over the decoys, it was game on.
Here comes one.
That was Smash City. That was devastation.
Here he comes, right here.
Only got one shell in my gun.
Woo! There's more than one way to kill.
Oh my gosh. That was cut. We cut the whole group.
That's what keeps you coming back for more right there. That one, when you wipe out the whole flock, you get that last duck coming back, it just makes you want to go again and again and again. Duck hunting is also a team sport. And unfortunately, in teamwork, a team is only as strong as its weakest link, or weakest links, I should say. And unfortunately, our duck blind does have its share of weak links. These are the people when Mother Nature is zigging, they're zagging, their gun jams at the wrong time, they left their shells in the truck, and they just can't figure out how to work standard duck hunting equipment that they've been using for years.
This is our life story. We got the 2 Menses out there working on the Mojo, right at shooting legs. It's a real, I mean, it's the 2 Stooges. It's unbelievable.
You know, opening day is exciting, it's magical, a lot of anticipation in the air, and it's just fun to be back with all the guys.
And then you have to deal with that. Opening day, perfect conditions for the ducks to be coming in, and these 2 numbskulls are trying to figure out how to work the Mojo. That is duck hunting. We all know that mallards are the king daddy when it comes to ducks. And it's the duck we desire the most and we work hardest to find. Now on the opposite end of the spectrum is a spoonbill. Who knows what a spoonbill is? Okay? In our blind, shooting a spoonbill is highly frowned upon. For the unindoctrinated out there, a spoonie is the ugliest duck and one of the most inedible ducks that there is. Although that you will find some of our East Texas brethren will eat a spoon from now and then. But spoonies feed upon fish and crustacea, not grains, and they have a very pungent taste. And needless to say, if you're shooting or eating spoonies, times are very hard in your house. Very hard. But the thing about spoonies is they're easy to decoy and they're fun to shoot, which makes them great fodder for kids. Kids growing up love shooting spoonbills because they always come in. There's a bunch of them. And the pros, you want to hang back and let the spoonies work out so you can get to the mallards. Well, Cameron, since he was a little pup, has always loved the spoonbill, as most kids do. And I've often said, even into adulthood, if a flock of mallards came in and there was a spoonie in the midst of them, Cameron would shoot the spoonie first and then go after the mallards. I mean, he just loves the spoonbill. So for years, I've chastised Cameron. I've scolded him. I've made fun of him. I've even taken his gun and shells from him before for doing that. So now I think we can all agree getting old sucks, right? I'm having to wear reading glasses now where I used to not have to. And our eyesight begins to slip up. And I myself am no exception to the fading eyesight.
All right, I'm going to fess up. You know me, I'm a vowed non-spoonie hunter. Cameron is the spoonbill hunter of our organization. Luckily, we all pulled up. Yeah, kill him. Yeah! That's a mallard drake right there, boys.
Spoonbill drake.
Was it?
Got the spoonie.
No, that was a mallard drake, dog.
Well,
Huh?
hold on. Let me just get out real quick. I need to go pick this bird up. I need physical evidence. It's a dead one now, though.
That's a mallard drake if I've ever seen one.
We need to make a bet on this.
That's a mallard drake if I've ever seen one.
No, my gun's fine. He's good.
No, it's not supposed to do that.
Is that spoonie drake?
Uh-oh.
That's spoonie.
That's not the duck I shot. That's not the one. I shot that one over there. Nah. I would have sworn on my children that it was a mallard drake. And by the time it hit the water, it had turned into a hen. And then its bill had flattened out when it hit the water, and it was a full-blown spoonie hen, and man, I was busted.
I didn't shoot. So.
I shot the one I shot was a mallard.
I must admit, as much as I love duck hunting, I do have a soft spot for goose hunting. And there are few things as magical in nature as being on the exact spot that all the geese want to land. And here in Texas, we have some phenomenal goose hunting, particularly in West Texas. And there are times out there where the sky is literally black with geese. Why West Texas, you ask? Two reasons: agriculture and cattle. With bountiful crops and endless cattle operations out there, grain is everywhere, and with that, you get geese everywhere. And experiencing a cyclone of geese is one of nature's greatest treasures.
Look out in front of us.
That is beautiful. That particular hunt we were on right there, every 5 minutes, it looked just like that again. Over and over and over. And I would guess how many, I would guess we saw over 100,000 geese just in that one day of hunting. So if you haven't had an opportunity to go to West Texas, it's a dynamite place to go. Being in the zone. You hear about great athletes getting into the zone. A dimension where all the world goes away, it's just them and whatever they're doing. It's Michael Jordan in the hoop. It's Jerry Rice and a Joe Montana pass in the air. It's Kirk Gibson with a Dennis Eckersley fastball coming to home plate in the World Series. And it's me, my gun, a couple of wood ducks. Oh yeah, I'm a camera.
You know, today we're hunting one of my favorite blinds, the runway blind, and those ducks come down the chute. We had 2 wood ducks come down the chute, perfect. Tim and Larry finished off one. I was swinging on the wood duck Drake, and it just happened to pass behind that camera, and the camera went to go see Camera Jesus. But the thing that they should be amazed at is that I kept my focus after blowing up that camera, got back on the wood duck Drake, who turned back around and came over our decoys. Pound, thump, hit the water. Game over.
Dude, we gotta get. Oh my God! Hey Scott, you blown our camera off.
It's amazing how much a camera looks like wood duck. You know, I ride Cameron's butt pretty hard, and I'm on him constantly, and I am so thankful he wasn't here to see me shoot the camera, because he would have let me know about it.
We searched desperately for the SD card out of that camera, and there was nothing left. It was completely gone. And the only thing we found was a little piece of foil, that bronze foil or whatever that's on the end. There was nothing. And we had to film another hunt the next day, so we had to, I think I had to overnight a camera, if I recall right. But, you know, being in the duck blind is much like being in a frat house. Like I said, there's hazing, there's pranking, there's ribbing, and there's an overall enjoyment whenever one of your fellow hunters in the blind is suffering or goes through some type of funny trial or tribulation, or gets themselves in a painful predicament. Brandon Hiles is one of our Quack Check Pro staffers, and he's with a co-owner of an outfit called Pin Oak Outfitters out of Waxahachie. And they run a great duck hunting and pig hunting operation just 30 minutes south of the Metroplex. And let me set the stage on this hunt. Cameron's down there hunting with Brandon and the boys, and it's bitterly cold, way below freezing. The water is barely above freezing, and none of those yahoos brought a dog with them on this hunt. So I joyfully call this segment Frozen Nuts.
Another beautiful thing about this hunt is normally I'm the bird dog on these hunts when we don't have a dog with us, but Brandon has been the designated bird dog for this hunt. It's beautiful. I get to stand here and laugh just like Tim would be doing. It's beautiful. Yes, good.
Got him.
Oh, there he goes. Did you fill up there? Oh, this is awesome.
I can't tell you how, if you've never experienced that, I can't tell you how painful that is to have 32.5 degree water fill your entire waders in a split second. Life in the duck blind is usually flurries of actions with lulls. And during your lulls, you're constantly scanning the sky, you're looking for any type of movement on the horizon. And usually when you do see movement, it's a flock of 3 to 10 ducks. But on occasion you look up and you get your breath taken away by just what appears out of nowhere. And the key to a situation whenever you have a tremendous amount of ducks hit your decoy spread at one time is pick out the duck you want to shoot and then move to the next duck. Too often people just will fire into the group thinking, I've got to hit ducks, there's so many. And if you do that, it's a recipe for disaster. You got to pick out your ducks, even though there's a wad of them right in front of you.
Oh my gosh.
We turned to our left and there was a wad of teal coming over the treetop. Boy, you talking about getting excited.
Blast them!
That is what I'm talking about. That was awesome. That was a wad of teal right there.
Tim called the shot on those teal, and those teal started falling down like rain.
Go get that swimmer.
That's the duck hunter's moment right there. It doesn't get any better than that. It's no secret that in our blind, Tim Dancliffe over here is very jealous of my shooting abilities. And when a flock commits to our decoys, there's usually multiple dead ducks floating on the surface of the water before Tim gets his gun into shooting position. And it must be quite frustrating. Therefore, there are times he must take drastic measures to ensure his share of the daily bag limit. And as my southern grandmother would say, bless his heart, who can blame him for wanting a little taste of the action.
I had gone back to the truck to get some coffee. I needed something to warm me up in the blind. It was real cold this morning. And while I'm gone to the truck, I guess Tim or somebody decides to unload my guns.
AJ just pulled a nice little prank. We shall see how effective it is.
So when I get back to the blind, I hunker down, I pour a cup of coffee, and wouldn't you know it, as soon as I get back in the blind, we hear some honkers off in the distance.
Well, here you go. Geese right in front. Geese right in front.
Those aren't lessers.
So I look back at Cameron, and he's just dying laughing at the fact that we had these geese come in and I had no shot because I had no shells. But I tell you what, it was a magical moment, and I couldn't get mad or couldn't get upset. I couldn't even laugh really because I was taking in the fact of how beautiful those graders came in. It was just pure magic to watch
I
out.
don't mind watching the graders come into a hole. That works.
Very seldom do you get graders coming into a little body of water like we had that day. And unfortunately, I couldn't join in on the all of us at DSC and DSC members, we love seeing clips of the animal charges. Watching a PH and a hunter unleash the firepower from their double rifles on a snorting, charging Cape buffalo is always tantalizing. The same could be said when hunters are stalking through the bush and you see that tannish brown streak of lion just start taking off for the hunters. It's adrenaline, it's excitement. We all know that in Africa, it's the wounded animals that always get you. But most don't understand that the same holds true in the duck blind. And sometimes in the duck blind, the wounded duck turns the tables and you become the hunted.
What was I telling you yesterday, Kyle? You gotta be careful when those ducks are coming out.
Tell me that hypersonic steel doesn't work. Smooth the head, clean off. That's the reason it folded and dropped like a sack of potatoes.
The big trouble was we didn't know how to put that on the stringer. There's one ingredient that is very important to duck hunting, and that is water. Water also has a byproduct known as mud. Unfortunately, these two necessary evils are a constant in our duck hunting world. And sometimes we forget that just because your truck says 4x4 doesn't mean that you can drive anywhere you want to go. This scene played out a year after a horrific scene played out the year before, which we'll see a picture of that later on.
We were fixing to film a little segment. We got drowned out by the vehicle extraction unit that is rolling in here. The John Deere just going to get my Chevy out of the ditch, out of the mud. It's been quite the morning.
It's been an awesome morning for me.
Last year when Scott shut the camera, I wasn't around and he was so relieved that I wasn't in the blind to see it. But this year he had nowhere to run when he stuck his truck.
What's that David Allen Coe song? You can't have a country song without mama and trains and beer drinking. I can't have a duck hunt without decoys, dead ducks, and a stuck pickup truck. And tractors pulling me out.
For the record, that tractor pulled the lug nuts off the back tire of my Chevy. I love country boy ingenuity. When we went out to West Texas, who's been out to West Texas? Okay, it's flat. There's nothing there. It's playa lakes. So you drive up on some of these playa lakes these boys want you to hunt on, and you're looking around. There's not a tree. There's nothing. Where are we going to hide? What are we going to do? And our ingenious outfitters out in West Texas that we hunt with, Mike Lambert of Muddy Water Outfitters, came up with a brilliant idea. And what they do is they check the weather, find out where the wind's going to be coming from, figure out where we need to hunt at, and several days before the hunt, they put out a round bale of hay right beside whatever body of water we're going to hunt at. And they let the cows eat the hay down. And then we come in with layout lines the day to hunt, and we cover our layout lines with the hay where the hay's been, and it doesn't spook the ducks. Great plan, right? Genius plan.
Wait a little bit, not too much longer. Flock of mallards coming. 4 drakes.
That makes up.
Never shot mallards while being surrounded by cows. It's nuts. I guess that's a good confidence. Start making these mechanical cow decoys and put around the
You've got the perfect cover. The plan worked flawlessly until the point we realized
that the cows were still in the pasture we were hunting. So as soon as we got set up, the cows come in and start eating the hay where we're at. Great idea in theory. The key to that plan is run the cows out of the pasture and make sure you close the gate, which we did not do. The next clip is a hunt we did with Ben Carter and Richard Cheatham in the blind with us. And each year we try to get Ben out of his comfort zone a little bit and take him duck hunting. And each year it follows the same routine / scenario. About a month before the duck season, a call is placed to Ben inviting him to duck hunt, which he gladly accepts as a reason to get out of the office. Then 2 days before the hunt, a call is placed to Ben informing him we're going to meet at 4 a.m. To which Ben always replies, 4 a.m., are you sure? 4 a.m.'s early. The sun doesn't come up until 6:30 a.m. In my deer camp, I don't get up until 7 a.m. And then I just deer hunt out the kitchen window while I cook breakfast. Then a day before the hunt, we receive a call from Ben. Hey, did you guys see the weather for tomorrow? It's 19 degrees, it's cold. Isn't that cold? In my deer camp, I usually sleep in when it's cold. Are y'all sure we want to go through with this? 4 a.m. and cold just isn't my style. You get the drift of setting up a duck hunt with Ben. One of the joys on this hunt with Richard and Ben was watching one of the true artists work in waterfowl. And those artists are the retrievers. We get to hunt with a lot of fine retrievers. And simply put, some of them are amazing. And our pro staffers literally spend tens of thousands of dollars on their canines that they hunt with. And watching them do the retrieves that they do is just so good for the heart and good for the soul. And you're going to see a retrieve that took place on a hunt with me, Ben, and Richard Cheatham that was amazingly entertaining. Y'all know the one I'm talking about. When I say this day was cold, it was one of the coldest days that I have ever been in a duck blind. And we hunted up on the Red River and in a little slough. And the only place that was open was the area we were hunting because we had an ice leader in it. And Ben showed up with some type of suit that had wiring in it and a battery pack or something that heated. It was like an electric blanket suit thing. And even he still got freezing cold. Richard, I looked over at Richard one time and he looked like he was on the south pole of Everest. And he was shaking so bad, shivering, that he tried to spit some of his tobacco out and it hit and it just rolled down his cheek and it froze right here. And he didn't have the energy to wipe it off. He was just sitting there like this. But watch this retrieve. This is awesome.
Tell you what, this has been unbelievable this morning. I'm learning to my stuff. Can you feed?
I retrieve ducks in the water, not on top of the water.
That's the Red River. As I stated earlier, I'm a proud life member of this organization, and I firmly believe that no other conservation group has a winning formula like this group here. And I'm going to tell you a real life true example. My little 5.5-year-old girl, Kendall, has a best friend named Billy. Billy's a girl too. We live in Fort Worth, not too far from TCU. And Kendall went to Billy's birthday. And while at Billy's birthday, Billy's aunts and uncles had driven in from different places around Texas and were there talking. And one of the uncles of Billy, my wife started talking to and asked what he did. He said he was a teacher, a high school teacher and high school coach. And talked a little bit about that, but what he was most proud of was he taught an outdoors class at his high school, Heritage High School in McKinney. And he went through just on and on and on about how this class, kids they learn how to shoot bows, they learn about guns, they learn about hunting, they learn about conservation. They learn all of these outdoor activities and they go on all of these field trips. And my wife made the comment that's pretty neat that the school would do that. And he said, yeah, he goes, it's good at the school, he said, but it's really the Dallas Safari Club's the one that funds all of this program. And he said they're the ones that provide the funding, a lot of time and labor. He goes, these kids that are in this program are kids whose parents would never take them hunting or fishing. These kids learn. He said a lot of these kids have even gone so far as the kids are the ones that have gotten the parent into the outdoors. And throughout all of that, my wife, me, we never said a word about my association with the Dallas Safari Club. I wanted to hear an unvetted, unadulterated version of what the Dallas Safari Club does on a grassroots level to kids. And I think for all of that, everybody in here deserves a round of applause. That's real life testimony. With that in mind, with that example in my mind and on my heart, we put together the following introduction to one of our television shows. And this introduction was for when we went and we filmed last year the first annual Dallas Safari Club duck hunt. And we did it up in Nacona, Texas, with an outfitter, J.J. Kent of Kent Outdoors. And I think we had around 30 or so DSC members come up for the hunt. A lot of them were kids, a lot of them were youth. And we just had a wonderful weekend of hunting as well as DSC fellowship. I think over 2 days, I think we killed 186 mallards, somewhere along that between everyone was there. It was cold, it was frigid, but it was an absolutely wonderful time. And with Billy's uncle telling us what he told us, I sat down, wrote a piece, and Cameron put this little piece together, and this was the intro, and I think it pretty much sums up what this group's all about.
The Dallas Safari Club is more than just a club. It's a way of life. It's an organization of individuals who are committed to conservation, education, and protecting hunters' rights. The DSC is much broader than just African hunting and conservation. As a matter of fact, the majority of the DSC's efforts and money never leave the North American continent. The Dallas Safari Club funds numerous wildlife and habitat conservation programs, as well as educational programs each year. From bobwhite quail research, to desert bighorn sheep reintroduction, to moose, elk, stone sheep, and caribou projects in British Columbia, the DSC is an active participant. The DSC's conservation and education efforts today ensure that future generations will enjoy watching and hunting wildlife tomorrow. The Dallas Safari Club sponsors a 3-tiered youth initiative in many public schools. Their Outdoor Adventures program, their Safety Shooting Archery Field Excellency Trials, and a strong youth outreach program sends children on outdoor adventures and has turned thousands of youth into budding sportsmen and conservationists. The DSC also is focused on putting more waterfowl in the air by committing funds annually
to the likes of Delta waterfowl. They are always striving for more ducks today and for future generations. I'm proud to be a life member of the Dallas Safari Club, and it was a great honor to be a part of the first annual DSC Duck Hunt. The first weekend of January found DSC members flocking to northern Texas to pursue their waterfowl dreams with Kent Outdoors. For some members, it was their first taste of duck hunting. Others were experienced veterans. But one thing they all had in common: they all left this hunt with a huge smile on their face.
Is there anything further to that?
Good shot.
You can, you see in that hunt, we had a lot of kids and young adults on that ride for us that weekend. And a lot of them shot their first mallard drake. And watching them soak up the magical atmosphere of the lodge, watching them intently listening to the older guys swap hunting stories, whether true or lies, you could feel that the hunting tradition was being passed. You could sense that the love of hunting was being passed on to these kids. They felt grown. They were getting to take in a little bit of what the big guys do, and it was pure magic to see, given a little bit to that next generation. You know, we travel and film a lot, and one of the things we always make a point of doing is whenever we're traveling and filming and we come across young people, we always take the time to listen to them. And, you know, the small voices today who love hunting are going to be the loud voices tomorrow who love hunting. So we always love to spend time in the field with them, listen to their stories, and make sure they get a little recognition on the TV screen whenever we encounter some really good kids. Good job! Awesome!
One of the great things about hunting is when you see youth get involved in it. We have Shaylee. Shaylee's birthday's today. 14? Okay, she's 14 years old, and she canceled her 14th birthday party so she could come out here and go dove hunting with us. And what did you do today? She shot 4 doves. Now, how many doves have you shot in life? That's it. Today was her first day. She did great. I mean, she was boom and fold. So I think we got a future hunter here. That's what the Dallas Safari Club's about. It's about conservation. It's about getting young people involved in hunting. So congratulations.
This next kid is a kid that we encountered in Bonham, Texas. We hunted with his dad, who was an outfitter, and he just loves quack shack calls. And he's quite the energetic kid, and he is not scared to blow on a duck call.
Hey, you know, one of the things that really does my heart good is when you see young callers who get into the sport of duck hunting. They love shooting ducks and they love calling ducks. And this is Cade Reynolds. He's one of the guys that just warms my heart to hear. Cade has a Quack Shack Outlaw Mallard Leg Orange that, I guess, is that your favorite call? You like it? Well, Cade's going to give us a little routine, and it's just so neat to hear kids be able to pick up a duck call and do this. Give us your hail call and your chuckling and all that kind of good stuff.
was also given the Audie Murphy Award by the Quack Shack and Safari Classics Productions, because on that dove hunt, not the one with Shaylee, but the year later, Cade's dad wandered a little too far off to pick up a dead dove. And when he did, flock started coming in, and Cade commenced to blasting. And young Cade pinned 14 adults down on a fence row because his dad couldn't get back to him because of shooting. He even had his dad pinned down. And for about an hour and a half, we all had to take cover on a fence while Cade with 3 shots reload, 3 shots reload, 3 shots reload. Finally, somebody army crawled across the field to get a hold of, get Cade back under control. But youthful enthusiasm. Wasn't it Audie Murphy who held off an entire German platoon by himself? He held nothing to Cade, trust me. We were trying to wait, hoping he would run out of shells, but apparently he had a case of shells over there with him. Hunting is more than the kill. All true outdoorsmen and women know that. And if your only motive is to kill, then I feel sorry for you. Besides the pursuit of the quarry, hunting is about the people you meet on the trail. It's about the majestic scenery you digest with your eyes. And it's the peace your soul gains, pushing the envelopes and boundaries of your life in this world as we know it. There are many times when we're out hunting that we simply just put down the gun. And you let the people around you and you let the scenery around you do the talking.
Caddo, if you ride around enough, you can find some ducks, but we actually have 5 blinds on this lake that were built by my great grandfather, and that belonged to his father, and then my father, and now me. But I hunted this spot in 1958 with my brother. And this is the first time I ever hunted in this particular spot. Of course, this was one of the only lakes in East Texas. And you know, we had thousands and thousands of ducks. We have so few ducks on the lake now, the only way you can hunt them is go hunt them. You just can't get up in a duck blind like we used to and put out decoys. You gotta go find them. I guess I've been duck hunting since 1956 was the first time I went duck hunting. And it's hard to believe it's not 2015 now, but I love to keep up with where I hunted on opening day every day. And of course, I've hunted ducks every inch of this lake. It takes a lifetime to hunt a lake.
You know, you have times during the hunting season we work so hard traveling around, always trying to kill ducks, find ducks, or whatever. But there's times when you just have to stop and take in what's around. And where we're at now, this is like a sanctuary. I mean, this is like being in the finest cathedral you could ever imagine. All these cypress trees, all this moss here on Caddo Lake. It literally takes your breath away. You forget all about hunting. And you just sit and you enjoy the quiet. And you enjoy what Mother Nature has made here. It's truly amazing. I highly recommend if you get a chance to ever take an airboat or a surface-driven or airboat ride on Caddo Lake, it's very worth it to take in. That's the only natural lake in the state of Texas, and it's breathtaking. The gentleman you saw in that is Walter Solomon. Walter Solomon is the one who invented the first spinning wing motion decoy duck and also now owns Wonder Duck. He's a true innovator and one of the classic guys. I mean, we could literally sit and listen to Walter tell stories for hours and hours and hours and never get tired. And that's the great thing about hunting. Beautiful places and the people you meet. Last, before intermission, just playing. There is no doubt that in the history of the Quack Shack, this moment has provided more joy for everyone associated with the Quack Shack and Safari Classics Productions than this clip, and for the following reasons. It's common knowledge that Tim Dangler is our resident blue blood of the duck line. For those that don't know him, Tim oozes aristocracy. His dry humor and his know-it-all personality sets him up for situations like you're fixing to see. Tim's the kind of fellow who's most comfortable sipping a fine scotch while wearing a silk Hugh Hefner-esque robe, sitting in a fine leather chair in front of a fire overlooking the Swiss Alps. That's Tim. Or sunbathing poolside in an exclusive yacht club, drinking old fashions while the waiter serves a prime rib. That's Tim. That's Dangler. Places you'll never see Tim Dangler: Six Flags, Hurricane Harbor, the State Fair, NASCAR event, the flea market, monster truck show, WrestleMania, pawn shop, all-you-can-eat buffet, etc., etc., etc. Tim is clean. Tim doesn't mingle with the great unwashed. Therefore, you can imagine our sheer exhilaration when this mishap took place.
As the sun started to get up, we realized there was going to be no wind. We decided it was probably time to get a mechanical in the water to give our decoys a bit of motion. Now let me give you a piece of advice. When your host asks you to put the motion decoy in the soft mud, there's a warning.
I asked Tim to put that mechanical out in the water because I didn't have no mud boots on. I didn't have no idea that he was going to fall in like that. I knew it was kind of silty, but I didn't have no idea. Shame on me for that one.
Is that what you wanted?
You know, when Tim was going out to set the mechanical, I made the comment to him. I said, I hope you sink up to your waist. Boy, was that a prophetic statement.
That was cruel.
You know, Tim's the blue blood. He's the aristocrat of our group, and it was funny when he got out of the water and he had on his muddy jeans. I noticed they were Ralph Lauren jeans.
Well, the good news is we got the motion decoy out there stirring up water. The bad news is Tim took one for the team, but we got motion on the water.
Not only were they Ralph Lauren jeans, but those were a $600 pair of Leshimo rubber boots that he was wearing. Talking about getting stuck. Remember my truck got stuck in the mud, and I said the year before? Just like Brandon Hiles freezing the nuts in the waders, this was an event that took place. We had, who did we have with us? Connor Harrison, right? Lone Star Outdoor News with us. And we were going to go hunting. And we were going to cross a low water crossing on our place, and we've crossed 100 times. And, you know, I just got through giving Connor the big speech. Okay, we always listen to the Rolling Stones. Which CD do we always listen to? Was Start Me Up, Tattoo You. We always listen to Rolling Stones Tattoo You CD. Good luck, it's going to be a great hunt, weather's setting up great, on and on and on. So we load the truck up, and Dave's in the back, Cameron's, everybody loaded down, whole bed of the truck's loaded down with Cameron gear. And we start going across this low water crossing, which we've gone for 1,000 times. And about halfway across it, we noticed the truck started sliding a little bit, and we started floating. So immediately everybody bailed out of the truck. Dave didn't have your waders on yet, right? I think you were saying hip waders on, that's right. And Dave had all the camera gear. So everybody bailed out of the truck. I was trying to save the truck, but Dave was trying to save the equipment. So Dave got carried across this river with like Vince Lombardi after the Super Bowl. He was on everybody's shoulders holding the camera.
My waders were already filled up. I had them filled up maybe out never in the backseat of the truck.
So it was a horrific loss. The truck was non-salvageable. We learned our lesson on paying attention to the little sign that tells how deep the water is when the water goes up the sign. And you can cross it when it says 2.5 feet. You cannot cross it when it says 4.5 feet. Okay, this upcoming year, duck numbers. For those duck hunters out there, this is the latest survey that just came out from the nesting program. And the thing that's great about this, mallard numbers are up, gadwall's up a little bit, green-winged teal are way up. Cameron should be ecstatic. Spoonbills are down. That lessens his chance of shooting a spoonie. But canvasback are up. Canvasback are a great restoration effort that's taking place in this country. They were almost hunted to the point of extinction by market and meat hunters, and now they're making a huge comeback. Now, generally, every year, most duck hunters will shoot at least one canvasback, which is great. So if you're a duck hunter, this year looks very good. I want to thank everybody. It's been a great journey the past 2 years with you guys as the title sponsor of the show. It means the world that I've been able to represent you guys a little bit in the hunting industry and on television. And we are so proud of this group to be associated with this group. I want to thank everybody, Ben Carter, Ben Kimmel, all the Safari Classics people who've done such a wonderful job in helping to promote the Quack Shack. I thank you. I kept it at 45 minutes. So we should, what? I went over? I was close. I wasn't 3 hours. So thanks so much.